Thank you for joining me yet again. I was reading the final chapter in my second book, Evolving Your SOULworks. And the funniest thing, I read through the whole chapter and realized I wasn't recording, which is crazy. And I also realized while I was reading it that it's actually how I feel right now. So an interesting little juxtapost of timing going on here, because I wrote this chapter back in 2017 when I published my second book, and it was about an experience the year earlier in 2016. So I'm reading it through, which apparently you didn't hear at all, and now I'm here reading it again a second time around at the exact moment that I realize that I'm feeling exactly how I felt back then. And the one thing that I had decided even while I was reading it the first time is that I'm in this crazy thing where I experienced many life-changing moments on a personal level, and with various people gathered around me as I went through that process. And now seem to be going through it again. This time I'm gathering people on an energetic level in the cosmos. It's pretty amazing, actually. I like the second version better, I gotta tell you. However, I've got a ways to go for reading my book, so I will read it as it was, realizing that maybe I'm just at this moment right now. This blessed is she who waits. Okay, here we go. As I prepared for the July, that was me looking to make sure I'm recording. As I prepared for the July 16, 2016 date and my 1335th day of fulfillment and scriptures, I could not help but wonder what it was all about. And I'm still wondering that. I already knew I was gathering my people. I had already gained insight on where we were gathering. However, what eluded me at this point was the why. I talked to my guides extensively, as I do, for many days over the upcoming event. Why bother showing up at all? Was the question at hand. I had already accepted my calling. Years back, I already accepted my calling. I knew my life was linked to prophecy and would strive to teach why. I had found the courage to share my experiences with my loved ones and continuing to share my experiences now. I'd officially made peace with my past lives. I had already started to document my encounters and write my next book, which at the time was Evolving Your SOULworks. At this point, the only reason I could justify the long trip south was to finish fulfilling the prophecy. I assume that's why I'm even doing this today. Finish it up. Tie up the loose ends, even if I don't know what they are yet. More specifically, I didn't want to go to represent or be connected to the past lives of Yeshua or Mary Magdalene. Not even close. I was going to represent Lauren Heistad in the now. To fulfill and bring closure to my own revelation. Not to declare it from the rooftops, as I've already said, but to confidently declare it to myself and those who gathered with me on that special day, my connections to the biblical prophecy and my own unique journey to enlightenment. Not declaring it from the rooftops. I don't believe I need to, but I do need to declare it to myself and those who gather and find me here to explain my connections to the biblical prophecy and my unique journey to enlightenment. With this realization, my guides flashed an image of Yeshua riding a donkey into town. More specifically, they also showed me an image of Mary riding a donkey into town. Of course, I was aware of the story. Who wasn't? But only somewhat familiar with the meaning. A few keyword searches online, and my answer was right in front of me. They did not roll into town I read that wrong. I think I'll leave it right there. She already knew who she was. She already knew her connection to scriptures. She went in to make a public statement and to stand in her own truth. It was that simple. And so was my answer as to why I would travel for the long-awaited 1335th day in the planned gathering. I would go to stand in my truth, fulfill and finish the prophecy, and further the journey of Lauren Heistad. But I was not about to ride a donkey into town. Technically, I've been there, done that. Okay, it turned out to be an amazing day with an amazing group of people that showed up to support my experience. Despite my hesitations that no one would attend, members from both the two ceremonies as well as my support group showed up that day and gave me the strength I needed to finish what I had come there to do. We went to the hill where the Mary statue stood. And I spoke to the group about other biblical events that had continued to transpire since we last met. I'm tired. I'm tired, I cried. I just want closure, and for the old story to end, so that my life, and more importantly, the entire world, could get on with new beginnings. Truth. It was time to leave the old story behind and decide what I wanted to do as Lauren Heistad. My experiences and encounters may have followed the scriptures to startling detail for quite a few years now, but I also know and knew the rest of the story was wide open, uncharted territory. A clean slate yet to be written. That's exactly what I intended to do. Write my own story. Free myself and all others who had been waiting for this time and understanding to arrive. Release and save us from the old paradigms of fear and outdated doctrines. It was time to stop the doom and gloom story or the holier than holy Savior approach and rise to a new level of reality and being. There are many who have waited and wondered and theorized what the 1335th day of the book of Daniel represents. And seeing as I'm here reading it a second time just today, I'm gaining clarity on the fact that I'm circling back to this moment in time for a reason. I can tell you that to me it represents the day I stood in my reality of officially having fulfilled prophecy. It was the day I no longer denied, feared, or gave away, or resented who I was and what I represented. It was and it is today, ironically. It was the day I knew without a shadow of a doubt I would finally find the courage to tell my story to the world. I had waited long enough to find closure to my biblical accounts. On the 1335th day of my soulful adventure, or whatever today represents, I had completely and wholeheartedly accepted the magnitude of my reality and the immeasurable blessings I have encountered. It was the day I fully surrendered to the beautiful and miraculous journey that is my own SOULworks. Now to those waiting for a more apocalyptic ending, you've been looking in all the wrong places. You have. Speaking from the point of view of the one who has lived these prophecies in physical form and explicit detail, I can honestly say there's no actual fire or brimstone. Not even close. Just everyday people trying to get through some very big changes. Big. There's no huge gavel coming down with judgments. No, just individuals working on their own soul development at their own pace. There's no evil, hideous beast either. Come on. Just people of all walks of life putting out negative vibes or selfish projections. There's no actual new world. Just a different awareness and vibrational existence. No eternal damnation. Just ongoing progress and the releasing of karmic cycles. And not even one single hero here to take away the sins of others, but a multitude of everyday heroes taking ownership and cleaning up their own energetic messes one step at a time. Can you honestly say you're surprised? Me either. Evolving your SOULworks. I am truly grateful. I am. I'm truly grateful and humbled and appreciative of the many experiences and spiritual encounters I have been blessed to live. I struggle every day to feel worthy of that honor. I do. And I don't feel ready for the journey ahead of me. Not even close. Although I know I must stand in my role and teach what I've learned. I feel no more capable or worthy of reaching a Christ consciousness state of being in this lifetime than you are. And yet we all are, right? I understand these ancient mystical prophecies are linked to a global awakening that reaches beyond time, race, religion, and creed. Thank God. However, the how and why, these integral details within the prophecy have echoed my specific life experiences, truly escaped me. They don't anymore, but they did. Sometimes I'm completely convinced I simply drew the short straw. Other days, I feel the full blessings and magnitude of these encounters and am more at peace within my heart than humanly imaginable. Now at this point, which is the end of my second book, Evolving Your Soul Works, I can only hypothesize why my life has unfolded as it has. So I'll leave you with this. I know it's to bring teachings and vibrational awareness to the masses. I know it is to clear misconceptions and help humanity move forward. I know it is to restore balance and to continue to bring healing and awareness and enlightenment to this world. Truth. This is who I am. This is who I have always been, and this is who I will continuously strive to be. From my own experiences and understandings, I also know who I'm not. It may have taken me a while, but I do know who I'm not. I'm not some evil beast, here to create havoc in your lives. I'm not a false prophet, spouting off lies or deceit. I'm not here to proclaim myself above or below anyone else. No, not even close. I'm not a personal savior to anyone but myself. I'm not here to change the world solely on my own. Thank God. However, I do vow to help teach all I can and continue to share the messages of love, compassion, and soulful expansion achievable through your own inner development and connection to spirit. We must all start taking responsibility for our own energetic awareness and footprint we put into the world. I'm one person in a sea of souls working to lift humanity to a new level of existence. It is time to let go of the past expectations and move to our new story. We are currently living within this time of change. I'm not the only piece to this story, nor am I even the only one experiencing these realities. I'm a part of the story. You are a part of the story. Collectively, collectively, we will create a new reality. We shall call it Mastering Your Soul Works, a oneness journey. I will see you there, my friends. All right. That's the end of my second book. It was called Evolving Your Soul Works, a Miraculous Journey. Published in 2017. Moved over to my own brand, SOULworks Publishing, in 2018. Reformatted when I took this version out of print and amalgamated it into my book Homecoming, which we are now 2/3 through. The next chapter starts my new beginnings. I hope that they offer you that same level of closure that they did for me. I will see you there.